Yeah, man. Shout out to Tisha the Brave.
Subscribe to me.
What's up, guys? My name is TishaTheBrave. Welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are doing okay. Before we get into the video, I know there's at least one or two of you who haven't pressed that subscribe button, so subscribe to me and join the Bravers, which is the family name for my subscribers. So let's get into the video, shall we? I'll tell you this story time because I was actually watching Mayowa's World. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, and I'm sorry if I'm butchering it, but I was actually watching this YouTube channel right here that I'm putting up right here. And she told a story about how some woman touched her locks, and I'm like, I actually have a story like that. So I was actually inspired to tell my story because of her. Anyways, I am gonna get into the actual story. So about 2 weeks ago, I was in church specifically for my cousin's baby dedication. If you don't know what a baby dedication is when you take a newborn baby and basically dedicate the baby to the Lord. We do a prayer, we do a whole thing. We don't baptize the baby, that's not what my denomination do, but like they basically pray over the baby and just hope that God looks after their life and whatnot. So it was my cousin's baby dedication. I came late to the church, and the reason was because I didn't have any sleep the night before. So I said to them, I'm gonna come around lunchtime, and then because I knew that the service was gonna be after lunchtime, it was an afternoon service, so I was like, all right, cool, I'll come at lunchtime, because I had no sleep that week, especially the day before. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna go in and I'm just gonna look okay. I'm just not. By the way, I'm not telling y'all to go to church late. That's not what I'm here. The Lord is always on time, and so should you. I get there for lunchtime. I've already eaten my lunch, and I'm holding the baby at this point so that my cousin can eat her lunch, right? So I'm just making things easier for her. I also make her plates all the time whenever she has a baby on her, because I just like to make things a lot easier, right? This particular woman who touched my hair, she is like like she loves babies, okay? She loves babies, and I happen to be holding the baby. So when she asked me to come over, my initial thought was that she wanted to hold the baby. So remember I said this was lunchtime, we were all in the back of the hall eating, right? And then she was sitting with all of her friends and her, right? And then she goes to me, oh, Letitia, come over here for a minute. And I was like, oh, maybe she wants to hold the baby. And I just leant over the table and I was like, yes. She goes, I want to ask you something. I said, yes. And I was thinking she was going to say something cheeky, like, can I hold the baby? And I was like, okay. But it wasn't that. It was, she goes to me, who did your hair? And I was like, oh my gosh. Now, this is not the first time that she's been obsessed with my hair. In the past, when we were little, when I was little, I've known her since I was about maybe 13, 14 years old. She used to touch my hair all the time, and I think she was hella disappointed when I got my hair to be locks, because this is not the first time she's asked me this question, and I keep telling her the same thing. So right now, in my mind, my eyes are rolling really hard, because I'm like, how many times are you gonna ask me this question? And she goes to me and she goes, who did your hair? And now remember, I'm leaning over the table with a bunch of people there, so everyone can hear this conversation. And I'm like, myself. And she goes, no. And I was like, yes. And she goes, how do you do it? I said, just leave it alone. And she goes, no, really? And she goes, no, really, how did you do it? And I'm like, oh, she doesn't understand the concept of freeform locks. And she's a Jamaican, so I thought she knew better, but she didn't. But to be fair, that's a dumb thing to say, because I guess a lot of people who just don't know about the community just don't know. She was like, no, really, how did you do it? And I said, okay, so basically, you leave your hair alone. I said, I left my hair alone in its curly state, and when it started to form locks in the stage of neglect, I just separated them. And she's like, no. And I'm like, yes. And I'm just like, what is her deal right now? And then like someone on the table just started laughing and just said, Rasta, and started laughing. And I was just like, okay, so this is happening. So I just swallow my internal rage, and then I just move on, and I just hold the baby, and I go back inside the main church, and I just wait for, you know, his parents to come later, because I'm holding the child, right, who's my cousin's son. So eventually they all come back and they all in the main church now. We're just waiting for service to start. Some people are still eating in the back. They're just clearing it up, just waiting for the second service to start. Normal stuff. So I was there, and then this same sister decides to sit next to my cousin who had the baby. And there was like, you know, she starts to stand next to my cousin who has the baby, and eventually they kind of like scooch up to make some space for her. And so she's directly sitting behind me now, right? Directly sitting behind me now. And mind you, my hair is like this. So my hair is here, and it's not in front of me like it normally is, right? So that's where it was. And then I feel someone doing this, and not only that, I feel like picking, and I'm like, in my immediate body just froze. In my mind I was like,
oh hell no! Is this woman touching my hair?
is she alright? That's what I was thinking, but my body was frozen. And my cousins like texted me like after this incident, and they were like, if you saw your face during that time, because we were all like, shit, why is she touching your hair? You're a black woman, you know, if I was to touch your afro puff right there and then, you would have squared up to me like, what are you doing? So I don't understand why you feel you have the why you feel you have the nerve, the like, who told you it was okay?
Consent, my dear. Consent, because
if I touched your afro puff, which she has always a puff, right? If I touched your afro puff right there and just picked it and just looked at it and did this, would you be alright with that? You would feel violated. You would feel violated. So I was really upset about that. And I just kind of jerked my head forward a little bit. Then she goes, oh, I think there's something in your hair. I think you did it on purpose, didn't you? And I said, no, I didn't. And she goes, yes, you did, didn't you? And I said, no, I didn't. And she goes, yes, you did. I said, no, I didn't. And I kept it like that. Now, had this not been in a church, right? Maybe I would have said something else, or maybe I would have touched her hair back. But I wasn't here for it, okay? I was not here for it. Someone at my door, so I'm gonna have to get the door, so give me a second. Now that I'm recalling back the situation, I didn't do anything because I didn't want to cause no drama. I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to cause no drama. But I feel like what I should have done was actually addressed it. Because I should have said to her, it wouldn't have been nice if I actually touched your hair and you didn't know what was happening, right? With no permission. I should have reflected, like on reflection, I should have said something. I kept my mouth closed. I kept my mouth shut. It wasn't about me on that day. And yes, I was the bigger person, cool, whatever. But I do feel that some people need to be told, and some people do need to understand that it's not okay for people to just touch people. It's a violation. It's a violation. And if I consider this to be spiritual, which I consider them to be very spiritual, there's 33 of them. If you're into numerology, you should know what this means, okay? You don't just up and touch people's hair. I think the next time I see her, I'm actually going to address it, because I feel like I've done that before with somebody else for a different reason in the church, and it was fine. Like, as long as if you don't want no drama, then don't bring no drama.
Period. Okay.
Anyways, guys, I'm gonna leave it here. But if you guys like this content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Watch my other videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, love, and all that good stuff. I love you guys so much. Bye, 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 bye.